Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. This is a brand new What If. This is part 1 of What If Deku had a spirit control quirk. This is commented and suggested by one of you guys, but is one of the OGs of the channel. I know he goes by a couple different things, but I believe the main thing he goes by is Masked Elite. Shout out to him. He's an OG. That's normally I don't really shout people out because it's really hard to find your comments, and it's, I don't know. No, normally I don't have it already written down, but I know this guy. I've known this guy for a very long time, and he's been around for a very long time. So shout out to him. He also suggested the Majin one. I forgot to shout him out on that one, but yeah, he's been around for a while. So this is a video I'll be doing, and yeah, I just wanted to say really quick, just before I get into it, I don't plan on just not continuing the Isagi What If. That will still continue on. Don't worry. I just want to do some other stuff as well on top of it. Yeah, but with that said, I don't want to waste much more of your time, and I want to get right into the What If. So let's get it. Izuku Midoriya is basically entered into this brand new world, the world of My Hero Academia. And this world is full of superpowers known as quirks. And these quirks, well, they can give you so many different things. They can give you powers like super strength, the ability to fly, explosions that come out of your hand, but they can also turn you into a washing machine. These are the type of superpowers we are dealing with, and these are the type of superpowers these people will possibly have. And Izuku Midoriya, well, he's born with a power that is a little bit different. It's a power that is kind of, in a way, all about control. He is born, or not born, but he develops a power around the age of 4, or his quirk, and they deem it to be called spirit control. In terms of knowing what it does, they literally have no idea. They have no clue at all. They believe that there could be many different uses for it. It could be controlling actual ghosts or spirits. It could be utilizing some sort of mythical power. They have no idea. And even when research begins to actually kind of come together for this specific quirk, they don't find anything. They have no idea what it's all about and no idea what it's truly about. But the one thing they do know is that Izuku should always try his best to remain in control. Always try his best to stay completely centered and in control of his emotions and in control of the things that surround him. And Izuku tries to do that. For a large extent of his life, his quirk does absolutely nothing. It does nothing. Not until he's about the age of 12. Izuku continues to try his best to stay kind of humble and centered and so on and so forth, but finally his quirk would show itself. His quirk would reveal itself in a way that he wasn't necessarily expecting. So he would more or less be kind of running during a kind of school activity, and as he's running, he's chasing somebody, trying to catch him. And as he's trying to catch him, he actually on accident taps the guy one time. He taps him with the side of his hand, trying to basically catch up to the person, and he begins to feel rejuvenated, as if he's feeling less tired, and his stamina increases. And on top of that, he can see the person get gradually more tired and more tired and more tired, eventually leading to him passing the person on the track and going right by him in a full absolute sprint, which is shocking to everybody. Everyone is completely in awe at the fact that Izuku was able to catch the person, and it's pretty damn impressive. But here's the thing. That's because of Izuku's quirk, and that is just one part of his quirk. Izuku starts realizing that he can actually see this spiritual essence coming from different people, and he actually notices that he can extract this spiritual essence, and it does various different things. I mean, we're talking just touching somebody and tapping somebody could basically ensue this reduction of stamina and endurance and gift it to Izuku basically permanently. Now, the other person will gain their stamina and endurance back, but he's able to absorb it, at least for the moment, and actually hold on to it during that time. So yes, it is something that can deplete, but it is permanent in terms of him getting it at that moment and how long it will take to deplete it. So it's, in a way, if you have a bottle that is half full, he would still be able to fill that bottle with stamina, or in this case, water, and he would be able to deplete that said water. Now, Izuku doesn't really understand how this works fully. I mean, yes, he does try it out, but how is he supposed to basically try it out on random people that don't really know what's happening? And frankly, he doesn't want to hurt anybody either, but he feels like this spiritual essence, this feeling he gets, the spirit essence of an aura of other people, that's what he should rely on. But it should also rely on the spiritual aura of himself. And that's something he begins to think about. What could he possibly do? Well, he's not 100% sure, but he begins to start doing a lot of different things. And that would include stuff like meditation, stuff like relaxation and training, but also training the mind mostly. He kind of trains his body, but he also trains his mind more than anything. And he tries his best to meditate and kind of open his mind to literally the entire universe. He feels like this is the way to go. This is his way of trying to learn things and trying to understand them and absorb them to a large degree. And that's exactly what he's able to do. Eventually learning how to actually grow his body, which actually enhances his body and strength. He grows in size and he becomes quite a bit stronger. But the thing is, it's less of an actual growth of himself and more of like the spirit that surrounds him grows into a figment of himself, which is pretty interesting and kind of an odd thing, but it's also something that interests him massively because, I mean, shoot, how is he able to even do this? This weird technique, it's something that he never knew he would be able to do. I mean, it's so different than anything else that he was able to do in the first place. Like, seriously. I mean, initially he was able to absorb stamina, endurance, and stuff like that, make people tired. But now he can grow like he's tangible or like intangible, and he can basically just become a giant in size, but it's also a different, a very odd version of size. He's not 100% sure and doesn't really fully understand things, but he also realizes that he could actually grow in size in terms of himself as well, because he didn't understand how to actually grow normally. He was growing as in terms of like aura and stuff like that. So he actually was genuinely doing it incorrectly to an extent, but now he's understanding that he can actually grow straight up in actual size, and that makes things even better. And it doesn't necessarily affect his stamina and his basically moving around and stuff like that. It doesn't affect that much. He can actually just flat out do it and not feel any different. Now, can he walk into buildings and destroy them? I mean, probably, like, that's going to be affected. He can't walk through doorways normally, of course, but that's kind of it. It's not really that big of a deal in terms of his stamina and his ability to be a little bit more tired, you could possibly say. Now, this would lead us into him basically being around 15 years old, and they would be at the middle school. And this would be their last day of middle school for the most part, where they're talking and the teachers are talking, or the teacher breaking down the fact that he knows that everybody just wants to be a hero. Everybody wants to be a hero like All Might. And of course, everyone's screaming like, yeah, that's exactly what I would be, blah, blah, blah. But there's one person that is outwardly showing that he will be the best, that he is the one and he is the only, and that is Bakugo. Bakugo tells everybody that he's going to be the only one to get into this school because he's better than everybody and blah blah blah. But of course, everyone's like, well, you know, Izuku is also trying to get in too, and some people, actually quite a few people, start laughing, thinking that Izuku has no chance. I mean, he really doesn't do anything that special. His quirk is kind of lame, like seriously. And Bakugo says the same, saying that there's no way he can get in. He might as well quit now. Like, this is stupid. Why are you even trying? And Izuku tells him, like, I'm still going to give it my full and utmost effort, and he's going to give it all he has to a large degree. And he's been training. He's been working hard. And he hopes Bakugo has been doing the same, because he might just flunk out himself. In which this would piss off Bakugo, because after the class is done and dusted, well, he would try and basically attack Izuku. Izuku would kind of push him away, and he would actually land a punch on Bakugo. This would basically start just kind of using something known as spirit fission, and kind of taking away Bakugo's energy, his strength, and his ability to really use his quirk. And Izuku is shocked to even see this, thinking, whoa, like, this is pretty wild. He never really used this heavily, thinking about someone utilizing their quirks, and it seems like it actually reduces the quirk's effect quite a freaking bit. And he kind of stops doing this because he doesn't want to hurt Bakugo. And then he tells Bakugo just to stay away from him and to leave him alone. And that's what Izuku just runs off and starts heading home as he's writing in his journal, fixing up any burn marks that he had on his journal in the first place. Now, this would lead him under that same tunnel. Under the tunnel that, unfortunately, he would be attacked on in the original part of the anime. And that's exactly what happens here. Izuku is attacked by the sludge villain. The sludge villain would come barreling through after he busts through a manhole cover, and he would go charging at Izuku. He would charge at Izuku, and he would be ready. He would be ready to take Izuku's body, even saying to the kid that he's going to take his body, that he has to get away from that freak. And that freak he was talking about was All Might. All Might was trying to stop him and also stop his evil ways, and he's trying to get away from All Might. Izuku thinks about how he should really handle this, and he decides that he's just going to run. So he tries to run away. He starts running away, but he sees that the sludge villain is actually catching up to him. Izuku begins to think that if only he was faster, if only he could get away quicker. Like, seriously, he just has to move from here to here. And as he's saying this, as he's thinking this, as he's honestly kind of thinking about all of this kind of movement and this transportation, you could say, and this movement that he wants to do, well, boom, out of nowhere, he would go from the spot he's in to about 10 meters in front of him. He's in shock. Did he just run faster? Like, did he just get quicker? Like, what just happened? This is insane. How did he do that? And Izuku looks back to see the sludge villain, and he dodges once again, moving out of the way, running, using the extended distance that he was away from the sludge villain to actually get away, leading to the sludge villain getting punched, a Detroit smash by All Might, sending him splattering all over the wall. Izuku would be in shock, but also excited to see All Might. He gets his, autograph and stuff like that, but he also asks All Might, like, seriously, I have so many questions and blah, 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 and he tells All Might that he wants to know. He wants to know if he could be a hero with a quirk that nobody knows anything about. A quirk that really he's learning on the fly, and he only knows so little about his quirk and only so much he can do. And All Might says that he believes he can, that he's not quirkless, he's not someone who doesn't have any potential in the world. His quirk may be unknown, his quirk may be extremely difficult to utilize, his quirk may be something that nobody understands, but the thing is, if he puts in the hard work and he tries his absolute best, he can get there. He could do it, and he could be a hero. Izuku is excited and happy, and he basically is just frozen in excitement, and eventually this leads to All Might basically saying that he has to leave and he has to go, and Izuku, in just happiness, would jump and grab onto All Might, saying thank you, as All Might would jump away. And as he's doing this, All Might could feel himself getting a lot more tired. He realizes that his strength is depleting pretty damn quickly, and Izuku realizes that unknowingly he was actually using spirit fission or force spirit fission to extract the stamina and many other kind of things from All Might himself. literally the stamina, the endurance, anything, just any leftover like usage of One For All during this time for the day, he's extracting it. And Izuku, well, he realized this, and All Might and him go crashing toward the ground. He would grab onto All Might, and he would immediately teleport to a nearby building, and he would stop right there. Izuku would be in shock, apologizing over and over and over again, and All Might's like, whoa, this is crazy. And Izuku explains what happened, and All Might says that, well, his quirk is an amazing thing, and the fact that he doesn't know anything about it, and then on top of that, he was able to teleport. I mean, seriously, this is something that is unheard of. Seriously, he has to truly take his skills to the next level. He needs to go to UA High School, in which Izuku is completely in agreement, saying that he wants to go there and be the greatest hero. He wants to be like All Might, in which All Might nods his head and says that he's happy to hear that, because he thinks the kid has every opportunity and every chance to be as great as he wants to be. And Izuku is, of course, over the moon hearing this from the number one hero, All Might. And Izuku basically tells All Might that he doesn't know if he can give him back stamina or anything like that. He doesn't know how that works, and he's sorry. He doesn't mean to put him in a bad situation. And of course, he would tell Izuku that it's completely fine. It's no worries at all, and he shouldn't worry about it, and he should just take a breather and relax. In which All Might does say that maybe they should test it. That if he relaxes and he focuses on the more positive outcome, maybe he can give him some of the power or the spiritual power or the stamina that he took from him back. In which Izuku thinks maybe that will work, and he tries. And initially, it actually works a little bit. It actually gives a little bit of All Might's stamina and more pep in his step back, but it doesn't give the full thing. And unfortunately, this whole situation, this whole kind of outcome, well, this would lead to the sludge villain getting out once again. The sludge villain would actually be released, and when Izuku is actually heading home, he realizes the sludge villain is running rampant, and he's got somebody held hostage. This would be in complete, or he would be in complete shock about this, but then he would see who it is. It's Katsuki Bakugo. He would immediately, without even thinking, run straight toward the sludge villain. Sludge villain would realize that the kid is running at him, but he would also say that, I mean, this is the same kid that ran away and tried to kind of like get away from him. He was screaming, he was crying, he wasn't anywhere near powerful. And Izuku, well, he thinks he doesn't have to be, and he grabs onto Bakugo as he throws his backpack at the eye of the sludge villain, and he teleports Bakugo and him back away toward the crowd, or the whole crowd. Everyone's in shock to see this, and the other heroes begin to converge, trying to just kind of occupy where the sludge villain is, and also surround him so that he can't get anyone else. And this works perfectly, even so much that All Might doesn't have to help at all. The sludge villain is surrounded, contained, and without a hostage, and without the quirk of Bakugo, he's nowhere near the strength that he was at the moment that he was just wreaking havoc. In which this does lead to everybody being extremely happy of what occurred. Honestly, even kind of congratulating Izuku, but also Bakugo. But Izuku knows that this is not good. Like, he could get in serious trouble for what he did, so he leaves before really anyone could say anything. And well, All Might this whole time was watching, thinking that this kid, well, he's something else. I mean, truly. I mean, he might even be the perfect person to be his successor. But before you know it, All Might couldn't even catch up to him, not even knowing where the kid is, unable to actually offer him the chance at utilizing One For All. But Izuku's mind, well, it's already locked in and thinking that he needs to train. He needs to get stronger. He needs to learn more about the stuff that he can do. The kind of making himself bigger. He needs to learn more about his spirit fission. He needs to learn more about his teleportation. He needs to do all of it. Because if he can learn how to properly use it, it could all be beneficial. And who knows, he might be able to do even more than he could possibly imagine. I mean, surely he might be able to bulk himself up like All Might. Well, that's kind of boring. But still, he might be able to do some of the craziest things you could possibly even think of. And Izuku, well, he wants to do just that. So he trains, he works hard, and he learns how to teleport better. He learns how to fight slightly better. He trains himself in terms he's running, he's doing push-ups, sit-ups, he's making sure to drink plenty of juice, all that good stuff. And he continues to develop more and more, or in terms of strength of his powers. And he continues the path of trying to become the greatest hero the world has ever seen. But it all starts with one test, one thing, and one outcome. That test is at UA High School, or at least the UA entrance exam. And this test starts with something basic. It actually starts with a written portion of the exam. And he's pretty good at it. I mean, he's a pretty smart guy. So he doesn't have much trouble learning and figuring out things and kind of doing things to a large degree. He makes sure to get everything down, and he makes sure to leave no answers blank. And he feels like he passed it pretty easily. But the real quote-unquote challenge, or what the challenge would have been, is the actual practical exam. The practical exam, though, well, it has some amazing looking robots. These robots range from 1-pointers, 2-pointers, 3-pointers, to even 0-pointers, where the 0-pointer, well, you probably shouldn't mess with him, and that's all according to President Mike. But this would lead Izuku into the fray as he stands there looking at the gates, as he's being absolutely just annoyed by Tenya Ida. Izuku stands there staring, waiting, and preparing. Izuku watches the gates go open, and as they go open, he would teleport immediately to one of the robots. He would grow in size, and he would pick up a robot and slam it on the ground. He would kick through each robot, and he feels like, okay, like this is working. I mean, yeah, he's not the strongest in the world. Yes, he is big, but it doesn't mean he's like super freaking insanely strong. But he's still pretty decently strong. So he kind of just barrels over these robots, destroying the 1-pointers, the 2-pointers. He has a little bit more struggle with the 3-pointers, but overall, he doesn't have much struggle like destroying the robots, and he does absolute work on every single one of them. In terms of Force Spirit Fission, can't really do anything there. These are electrical kind of based robots. I mean, these are literally robots, right? Metal, scrap metal, whatever you want to call it. He can't really do anything. He's not going to separate any energy or anything like that. They don't have any spiritual essence or to really work from, but still he destroys them with his growth size, where he can more or less just exhibit this spiritual control, growing in size and just smacking down these different people, other known as a gigantification, which is pretty damn cool, honestly, pretty damn cool. And he barrels over these people, boom, one after another, one after another, and one after another, or barrels over these robots, and he destroys them. He absolutely destroys them. But here's the thing. He's a little slow. I mean, not slow in the head, like, dumb. But he's a little slow in terms of just physical capabilities. And utilizing both the teleportation and the gigantification, it takes a lot out of him. It does. And he has nothing to, really sap from. He can't really punch somebody, gain some stamina back. No. So it is a little bit of a struggle. So he does kind of try to pace himself and do things how he believes they should be approached. And eventually he would barrel through a ton of these robots. Now, this would lead them to the final part of this exam, and that is the entrance of the 0-point robot. This 0-point robot is an absolute monster. We're talking a behemoth. This thing is above even buildings themselves, and everyone's standing there like, whoa, this is something. This is absolutely insane. How the hell are they going to defeat that? In which Izuku thinks to himself that he doesn't know how he's going to defeat it, and he doesn't want to try to defeat it. So he basically shrinks back down in size and goes to run away. As he's going to run away, though, he sees something. He sees someone calling for help, someone unable to move and under a bunch of rubble. Izuku would sprint in that direction, seeing the 0 Point robot actually closing in on the location of the girl by the name of Ochako Uraraka. This would immediately send Izuku into a place to try and save her, try and basically stop this from happening, stop her from getting hurt. Izuku would try to push all the stones off, but then would realize they're extremely heavy. He thinks, does he gigantify? Does he push them over? No, but she's hurt. Whatever. He immediately grabs her and teleports to a nearby area, getting her out of harm's way. But as he's doing this, he could feel something within his hands. No, nothing inappropriate, before any of you insane people think otherwise. He feels like he's sapping energy from her, but it's not. It's a different feeling. It's a different thing. And he doesn't really know what it is. It might even be an ability to heal, but he doesn't know. He stops because he's unsure of what he's doing, but he doesn't want to hurt her or kind of, make her healing process any longer. But this is something that he'll have to learn. He'll have to understand, because this is powers that are even beyond just some simple quirk. This isn't your run-of-the-mill typical, oh, it's a quirk, it's a superpower. No, this is far different. Whatever he has is completely different than the normal in terms of what type of quirks and superpowers people truly get. In which, of course, he would save Ochako, and he would get a decent amount of destruction on different robots. But the main thing is that he saved somebody. And what he doesn't know is that there's hidden points for saving somebody as well. And that's exactly what he gets. Because one day, after a couple weeks would pass and he would finally get his letter, and this letter would tell him something. This letter would tell him that he got into UA and that he is in class 1A and he is the #1 student. This would make him think that this is insane. This is wild. How did he do that? How is he the #1 student? He's excited. He's ecstatic. He can't even really wrap his mind around it. But at the same time, he did it. He tried so hard. He trained so hard, and he did everything he possibly could, and he finally freaking made it. Not just a UA, but he finally made it as the #1 student in class 1A. And he's excited to see what's coming next. And as he enters those big doors, as he walks through those doors to see different people, he sees it. Everybody's different. Everybody's small, big, large, whatever you want to think of. Quirks completely different than the other. And as he sits down and awaits his teacher to enter, eventually he would. But his teacher is a little bit different than what he thought. Shota Aizawa tells them all to shut their mouths and get ready, because they're going to do something other than what they thought they were going to do. No orientation, no bloated egos, no praising them to the moon. They are going to train. They're going to show what they can do. And Izuku is excited for it. Somebody who wants to send them right into the deep end, right into the fire. This is something he feels like he needs to do to train and get better. And that's what's going to happen. And he tells everybody, after they all get ready, settled, and they get dressed for what it would have been for PE or something like that, Izuku would be up first. And he would tell him that to use your quirk however you see fit. Do whatever you believe, as long as you're throwing the ball from where you stand. Izuku thinks that maybe he could throw the ball and teleport it somewhere. Is that possible? He's really never tried it. But he also said throw it. So what's the safe play? Does he try to maybe gigantify and then throw it? Maybe he could throw it pretty far. And he believes he can. But what if he can teleport it? Well, he gigantifies and throws it, and he tries to teleport it. But then he realizes that he really can't. He can, but he has no idea how to basically teleport a singular object without him going with it. So he just chucks it as hard as possible as he's in this large and gigantic form, and everybody's just standing there in awe. whoa, like that's awesome. Some of them did see this form already, but others, this is the first time they're seeing it. So this is insane to see. This is awesome to see. I mean, he's so freaking cool. I mean, look at him. And everyone's in complete and utter awe about how he's able to just grow in size the way he was able to grow in size. But of course, Aizawa would see them all having fun, would see them all laughing, giggling, and say, oh, this is going to be so awesome. And he tells them, no, no, no. No more having fun. No more of, oh, this is awesome. All of you, this is serious. And the way we're going to make it serious is if whoever's last will be expelled from this school. And after all of these tests, after every single test they go through, Izuku excels at basically all of them. I mean, seriously. I mean, the speed test, I mean, he can just teleport. So he would be #1 in that instantaneously. Well, literally, no pun intended. And he'd be able to get really good scores in practically everything you could possibly imagine, allowing him to get #1 in this kind of Quirk assessment. Now, the last person would be Hagakure. Hagakure would be in last and would actually be expelled. But the very next day, she would show up because Aizawa would bring her back and say that he actually is allowed to do temporary expulsion. And yeah, there you go. And she's back, which would be funny to see because everyone would be absolutely terrified at the aspect of being expelled. And now knowing that you can come back from being expelled, well, yeah, that's cool. But that means that there's a high chance that you're going to be expelled in the freaking first place, which is not cool as well. But still, they're excited to see what is to come very next because the Quirk assessment, yeah, it wasn't necessarily fun because, well, Aizawa, according to Aizawa, he was not okay with it being fun. It is a little bit, or they have a little bit of excitement because, well, guess who is training them today? The person that is training them today is the one and only #1 hero, All Might. All Might comes busting through the door. He says, I am here. And he tells them that they have heroes versus villains training on the board for today to get on their hero outfits and get ready to show what they can do. Get ready to show what they're truly capable of. But we're gonna have to wait for the next part of What If Deku had a spirit control quirk. And if you enjoyed, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like I said, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And just so you guys know, if you guys like Izuku What Ifs or Deku What Ifs, I do plan on still doing them. Don't worry, this channel is not going to be just Isagi. It won't also just be Izuku or Deku. I plan on trying to diversify a little bit. Maybe we'll do like every week we'll do something different. Or we'll just go back and forth between My Hero and Blue Lock. I haven't decided yet. But I do want to mix it up. Kind of open the repertoire just a little bit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. With that said, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.